Hi everyone. So in this video I want to talk about how we talk to ourselves, because from my own experience in the past I have been incredibly harsh. That internal dialogue that's going on is really not that nice. And this was, particularly the case when I had my eating disorder. I would berate myself. I would, any tiny thing that I thought, wasn't quite right, my inner chatter would pounce on that and, take its time in telling me exactly, what it thought of me and how I'd done everything wrong. And this just overriding harshness that really wasn't very nice. And, over the years that has changed, and I'm now much more kind and compassionate towards myself. I can start to see that, I'm human, and that's amazing, and not be critical of myself for that. And it's really interesting when we start to look at, how we talk to ourselves versus how we talk to others. Like I noticed, from my experience, if someone came to me with a problem or an issue, I'm not gonna, jump on that and criticize them and tell them off for, what they've done wrong and all of this. That wouldn't even cross my mind. And yet, when I put myself in that position, particularly in the past, I have I have been so quick to criticize and attack it with harshness. And so, when this person comes to me, I'm going to be compassionate. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to say, you've got this. Being supportive. And so when we kind of almost hold up the mirror, how can we show that more to ourselves too? And what impact can that actually have? Because certainly when I had my eating disorder, I didn't really feel like there was an alternative option when it came to how I talked to myself. It just was what it was. That was just, I didn't even really think about it. But on reflection, what I found is that adding those extra layers of critique and harshness doesn't make anything easier. And, if we're maybe already feeling low or down or kind of feeling some heavy emotions, having that extra layer of harshness on top usually just makes me feel a whole lot worse. And so when we start to, like, the first step I think in this is really just starting to notice, how are we talking to ourselves? What's some of that, what are some of those words that come up? What's the tone? And then from that place we can, start to explore, do I want it to be like this? Do I want to be more compassionate and kind to myself? What might that look like and sound like? How might that tone change? What vocabulary might I start using instead? And then we can start to explore, what impact might that have? And I've certainly found that the kinder and more compassionate I am towards myself, the easier everything is. If I'm stuck on a decision and I am getting really frustrated at myself and thinking, I should be able to figure this out and all of that, when I start to see it through a lens of love and kindness, that decision, not only it takes the pressure off, because it's saying to myself, you're human, decisions can be hard sometimes, and that's okay. So that's immediately lifting the pressure. And then also, you know, even seeing the decision itself through that lens of love and kindness. Like, what decision is going to be more, is going to be a step in that direction towards showing myself love and kindness and compassion. And you know, from that place, I found that things really shift. And it's almost like this kind of image of, you know, like greasing the wheels. It's like this, the kindness and compassion, it allows things to flow. It removes that kind of, the kind of friction almost that can keep us stuck, or hold us back, or feel like we're sort of being dragged along. And I've certainly seen this to be true in my life. And so I'd love you to just kind of compassionately inquire and reflect on, how might you be talking to yourself right now? Is there a difference between how you talk to yourself and others? Do you want it to be different? How might it sound different? And just kind of see what happens from there. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to leave any comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.